Yo, what is up guys? This is Pedro here, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about the 5 most underrated players during Washington football training camp. Guys that haven't been getting noticed enough, and I'm also going to be showing you guys a couple highlight clips from those guys. So if you guys are new, subscribe for Washington and NFL content. So let's get right into the video. So like I said, it's going to be most underrated players that haven't been talked about enough, and kind of players that you wouldn't expect to be doing well in training camp that have been doing well. So not necessarily just underrated, but kind of a few different criteria mixed in there. So first, let's start off with cornerback Greg Strowman. So cornerback Greg Strowman has actually played really well in training camp. This is his 3rd year, but he was a 6th round pick out of Virginia Tech, I do believe. He did not play much last year due to an injury. So let's talk about what he's done in training camp. So cornerback Greg Strowman has really come on as of late. 2 interceptions in as many practices, and he has had another before the media were allowed to watch. Washington needs cornerback depth, and Strowman is making his case. So he's done really well in training camp. He's probably led the secondary in picks with 3, 2 with the media there, and another without the media there. He's done really well, and I do think he's going to get one of those cornerback spots. You got Kendall Fuller, Jimmy Moreland, Fabian Moreau. You also got Aaron Colvin. I know I'm missing someone, but Greg Strowman is going to be in that mix. He's probably going to make the team, and I'm expecting not big things from him, but he should provide some and Ronald Darby, of course, but he should provide some decent cornerback depth, and I think he will make the team. He's been playing he's been playing pretty well in training camp, and in 1 year with us in 2018, he played in 15 games, started 3 of them, had an interception and a forced fumble, so played okay. His coverage stats weren't the best, allowed a 63% completion percentage, but that is not terrible. So that's better than some guys we have on the roster ahead of him, including Aaron Colvin. I like Greg Strowman a lot better than Aaron Colvin, but at the very least, he's going to make the practice squad. But I do personally think that Greg Strowman is going to make the roster. And yeah. Okay, so next is Marcus Baugh. So before training camp started, not a lot of people thought Marcus Baugh was going to make the team. Maybe he was going to make the practice squad. But after training camp has started, he's been playing really well. I'm going to read what a few people have had to say about him. So Rion Walker said, Kyle Allen steps in, has to wait a while and gets through his progression before locating Marcus Baugh open just for the goal line for the routine score. He's been playing really good. He's a huge guy. He's a big target. He's one of the most athletic tight ends on the team. She also said, I look up and see Marcus Baugh with the ball and hitting the meanest spin. Coach Ron Rivera said he was their most athletic tight end. I'm seeing the vision. So he's done really well, and a lot of people are saying that he's emerged as tight end number 2, including JP Finley, especially after Thaddeus Moss got released. And I think Marcus Baugh's emergence had to do with us releasing Thaddeus Moss. So I'll read this right here. So this is by JP Finley. So far in training camp, free agent addition Logan Thomas seems to have locked up the top tight end spot. He's also played really good in training camp. And Marcus Baugh looks to have an early edge for the 2nd tight end spot. Baugh played for Ohio State in college, so he has that connection with Dwayne Haskins, which is good, and signed with Carolina last year as an undrafted free agent before signing in Washington. He did have a injury. I think it was a back injury, so he's on IR, so he couldn't really play much last year. I think he got injured in preseason, but he also has chemistry with Kyle Allen because he played in Carolina. So I think he's going to make this team and maybe possibly be the 2nd tight end on this roster, and I think he can make an impact. He's not necessarily been underrated in camp. A lot of people have been talking about him, but we weren't really expecting him to make a huge impact, and he has made a decent impact, and he's most likely going to make the team and possibly be that number 2 tight end, and he's young, so possibly maybe next year he can get a lot more targets. So now on to the next guy. This guy is always here on this list every year. I mean, this is the first time I've made the list, but he's always one of those training camp guys. Hopefully he can translate it onto the field, but it is Cam Sims. First, let's look at this catch by him that he had. Crazy catch. So let me play it right here. He gets both feet in bounds. It's hard to see. The camera work right there wasn't the best, but I will play it one more time just so you guys can see that right there. He gets both feet in bounds, an insane catch, and he's been making a lot of really nice catches, and he's played pretty good. This is what Kyle Stackpole has said. Others who I noticed making some big plays, Nate Orchard, Deron Payne, Sean Dion Hamilton, Shazier Everett, Antonio Gibson, and Cam Sims. Also earlier he says standouts from practice. This is on August 22nd. One of them included Greg Strowman, so he's played really well, and I'm excited to see what he can do this season. Hopefully he can stay healthy, and I do think Cam Sims can make an impact. He just has to stay consistent because he plays really, really well in training camp, but can never translate it in the regular season. The first year that he dominated training camp, he got hurt with an ankle injury and really didn't play at all. Last year, he played decent in training camp, but when the preseason started, he didn't play really well, and against the Ravens, he dropped a couple passes from Dwayne that he should have made. So we'll see what ends up happening with Cam Sims, but from all accounts, he's been playing really well in training camp and could end up being a good depth guy. And who knows, he's got really, really good potential. 6'5", 215 pounds. So he's that outside receiver that we could pair alongside Terry McLaurin. So I think Cam Sims, he's just got to keep up the good work in training camp and translate that to the actual field on game days. But he could be a really, really good guy for us, and hopefully he actually translates his training camp play to weeks 1 through week 17 play. So now, next guy on this list is Cameron Curl. He actually hasn't been talked about at all pretty much by really anyone, but Cameron Curl, 7th round cornerback / safety, has actually played really well in training camp. Not really well, but pretty good for a rookie, especially a 7th round guy. He's had about 2 picks. I'll read this tweet by JP Finley. Kyle Allen goes deep and gets picked off by Cameron Curl. The 7th round rookie has put together a few good practices. I assume that's what he means by 7th. But he's had about 2 picks. He's impressing Ron Rivera. One thing Ron Rivera said he really likes about Cameron Curl is that he's very coachable. He doesn't make the same mistake twice. And when Ron Rivera says something like that about a player, that means he really, really likes him. I expect Cameron Curl to at the very least make the practice squad, but I honestly think he's going to make the roster. He's been playing pretty good in training camp, like I said, and I think he definitely has the chance to make the roster if he keeps this up in training camp. And who knows? I think he's going to play special teams if he makes the roster, and maybe potentially at the end of the season provide us some good cornerback / safety depth. But yeah, I like this pick in the 7th round. It was okay. Definitely better than James Smith-Williams. But okay, so on the last player of the day is Jordan Bralford. This is a player I actually really like. I like him a lot better than James Smith-Williams. I think I'd rather keep him rather than keep James Smith-Williams. But Jordan Bralford, here's what John Keim said. One guy who's looked quick off the edge at times was Jordan Bralford. He was working versus 2nd and 3rd teamers, but it was the first time we've really gotten a chance to see him. He's been playing really good, and John Keim isn't the only one who's been talking about him. JP Finley, Kyle Stackpole, Zach Selby, a lot of people have been talking about how good he's been playing. Of course, he's not on the level of Jonathan Allen, Chase Young, Montez Sweat, the first team defensive line, but he could provide some nice depth there with Nate Orchard. I think he can make the team, and I think he might make the team over James Smith-Williams. That is just my take right there. I want to hear what you guys think. So the players we talked about today was obviously Greg Strowman, Marcus Baugh, Cam Sims, Cameron Curl, and Jordan Bralford. Some other notable names, players that have played pretty well in training camp that kind of flown under the radar, players we didn't really expect to do good. Jerron Christian, but he's been a little bit inconsistent. Same with Troy Apke. He hasn't been inconsistent, but I already talked about him in my last video, so that's why I'm not talking about him today. But overall, I want to hear what you guys have to say. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please smash the like button, subscribe, turn on those notifications so you never miss a video, and peace.